Hey everybody, and welcome to Anime for Life. Today we're going to be playing a game called Everlasting Summer. It's a visual novel that I've been meaning to play for a while now, and you can find it on Steam. And from what I've seen, it's actually gotten really good reviews. But as I said, I haven't played it yet. It's actually a Russian visual novel. So that's interesting. I'm not used to visual novels coming from other places aside from Japan. Though I played Max's Big Bus, which is an Australian visual novel, and a very, very funny one at that. I've got a couple of playthroughs, or rather not playthroughs, but a couple of videos showing some gameplay of it. I never actually finished it. Probably should do that. Finish it. And that one's really fun. But yeah, we're going to play this one. But instead of just rambling here, let's get right to it. I was having that dream once again. That same thing every night. It's all forgotten in the morning, as usual. Maybe it's for the best. Well, if you're having that dream, how can you know it's that dream if it's forgotten every morning? Only a glimpse of memory will remain. Gates, half open, as if inviting you somewhere. Two frozen stone pioneers standing close by. Also, that strange girl. He keeps asking me. Will you come with me? But where? And why? Where am I anyway? Of course, it all happened in real life. If it all happened in real life, I would certainly have been scared. Well, what else would one expect to feel? This is just a dream. The same one I see every night. There must be a reason. You don't have to know where or why to realize something is really happening. Something desperately seeking my attention. Since everything that surrounds me is real. This real is my own flat. I could open the gates, hear the hinges creak, brush the crumbling rust away with my hand, inhale the fresh cool air and shiver from the cold. I could, but to do that, I would need to pick myself up, take a step, move my hand. This is a dream. I understand that, but what of it? What does my understanding change? Because it's just like on the other side of the cracked screen of an old TV. It struggles to fight against static noise and strives to show its audience everything without missing a single detail. The picture is getting blurry. It must be waking up soon. Maybe I should ask her something. Pearl. What's her name? The stars, for instance. Why the stars, though? I'd rather ask about the gates. So ask about the gates. Yes, the gates. She would be so surprised. Or better, why the dot over an I was called a tittle. But the dot over a J was called a superscript dot. There you go, people. Useless information. Yay! Nice letters. As if they don't exist anymore. Still, what do letters, gates, and stars have to do with this place? Because even if I'm having this dream every night, which we've gotten to anyway, I've got to look for answers here and now. And there, if you look carefully, you can see the giant clouds. Hope I said that right. As if I'd ended up in the southern hemisphere. In a dream, there are the small things that catch your attention. An unnatural colored grass, impossible curves of straight lines, their own distorted reflection. While the real danger, which could put an end to everything right here and now, seems trivial. It's natural, since here you cannot die. I don't know about that. I know for sure. I've done it hundreds of times. She did not die. That's the point of living. You should ask the girl. She's a local. She should know. Yes, exactly. I should ask her about the owl, for example. Strange bird it is. Though, doesn't matter. Will you come with me? And every time I have to answer. It's the only way. Otherwise the dream will never end. I'll never wake up. Oh, why not? Every time it's so hard to decide on the answer. Where am I? What am I doing here? Who is she? And why does so much in my life depend on this answer? Well, maybe it doesn't. It's just a dream after all. Yeah, you keep saying that. Just a dream. Fall asleep on my computer or something? Oh, looking at porn's very tiring. The computer screen stared at me as if it was alive. Sometimes it really did seem to me as that it was conscious of itself, had its own thoughts and wishes, ambitions, that it had feelings, could love and suffer. Okay there, buddy. As if in our relationship, the screen wasn't an instrument. It was me who was a lifeless piece of plastic and text to light. There's some truth in that, probably because the computer provides 90% of my communication with the outside world. Wow, do you not get out? Anonymous image boards, some chats from time to time, and rarely ICQ or Jabber, and forums even more rarely. People on the other end of the internet cable simply do not exist. All of them are simply creations of its sick imagination, an error in the source code or kernel bug which started living a life of its own. Yeah, see, the thing even said H-chan. Probably was looking at porn. If one looked at my existence from the outside, such thoughts would seem crazy, and a psychologist would surely give me a bunch of sophisticated diagnoses and maybe write a doctor's referral to the loony bin. A small apartment with no signs of repair or any semblance of order in it, and always the same view out the windows on the grey megalopolis, running somewhere day and night. Such are the conditions of my life. Well, of course it didn't all start like this. I was born, went to school, and finished it like all the others. I was accepted at a university, where I spent about a year and a half trailing behind and struggling. Drifted through several jobs. Sometimes I was working out quite well. Sometimes I was even getting decent money for it. It all felt like it was not mine. It's like taking from another man's biography. I wasn't living life to its fullest. I was looping over and over in monotonous circles. Like a movie Groundhog Day. It's just that I had no choice in how to spend my day. My day repeating itself. Same vicious spiral. A spiral of emptiness, misery, and despair. Wow, dude, you're emo. For the last few years, I just sat in front of the screen all day. Sometimes there were menial jobs, sometimes my parents helped me. All in all, I was able to provide for myself. No wonder really, since my needs are quite minor. I hardly ever leave my room. My community communication with other people almost exclusively consists of online correspondence. They are anonymous. No real name, no gender, no age. Well, gender doesn't really mean much these days, so who really cares about that? So, in brief, quite typical life of a quite typical antisocial person of his time. Kind of Johnny Darko on a minor scale, without doomsday related visions. Maybe some highly respected author will write a novel about me, and it'll become a contemporary classic of modern literature. Or I'll write one myself. However, what's the point of fooling myself? I tried many times, but couldn't even come up with a simple short story. I tried to learn many other things as well. I'm not gifted enough to draw. I know that. Programming, got bored. Learn languages takes too much time. The only thing I loved doing was reading, but still I never called myself a scholar. Perhaps I was an ace at watching anime and a grandmaster of lame internet jokes. What's wrong with that? If I were to get paid for it, I would probably be a happy person, a richer person too. I doubt it would fill the hole inside me. Can you get any more depressing? Today was another typical day of a typical failures, typical life. Yep, me can get more depressing. And today is the day when I have to go to my university reunion. Frankly speaking, I really didn't want to. What's the point? The time I spent with them was so short. However, I was persuaded by a friend, a former university mate, and one of the few with whom I kept in touch other than through the internet. Frosty evening. Bus stop. Waiting. I never liked winter. I'm with you there, buddy. Coming from a cold place, I hate it. I hate it just as much. Though hot summer is not my season either. That's where me and you differ. I like summer. It's just that I see no reason to point out any particular time of the year. It doesn't matter much what the weather is outside when you stay at home 24/7. The bus today was running so late that I was about to curse it all and spend my last few hundreds ruble for a taxi. The idea of just returning home didn't cross my mind for some reason. As usual, millions of thoughts flew through my mind, but there was not a single useful one to seize on. Such a thought that you could bring into existence, give a shape, turn it into an idea, and put into practice. Maybe I could start my own business? But where would I get the money from? Maybe I could go back to working in an office. No way. Maybe I could try freelancing? But what skills do I have, and who would want me after all? Okay, seriously, buddy, you're starting to make me depressed. I suddenly remembered my childhood, or rather my teen years, the time when I was 15 to 17 years old. Why exactly those years? No idea. I guess it's because back then everything was so much more simple. It's easier to make decisions so complicated now and so simple then. Waking up in the morning, I knew exactly how my days were going to pass, and I always eagerly looked forward to the weekend. Then I could get some rest and have time for the things I liked: computer, football, going out with friends. And then, at the beginning of next week, I'd take up my studies again. Back then, there was no such worrying questions like why, who needs it, what will change if I do it, or what will not change. Simple lifestyle, so casual for any normal person and so odd to myself today. A careless childhood age. It was also then that I met my first love. Her appearance and personality have vanished from my memory. Only her name remains, like a brief line from a social network profile, along with the feelings which overwhelmed me when I was with her. Affection, tenderness, the desire to care for her and to protect her. Sadly, it didn't last long. Today I can hardly imagine something like that happening. probably like to meet a girl, but I don't know how to start a conversation. On earth to discuss and how to attract her. Well, I haven't met any suitable girls for a long time, but where could I meet one anyway? The sound of an engine brought me back to reality. Bus further. There's something abnormal about it, I thought. And again, it doesn't matter. One of the 410 runs this route. Streetlights pass me by. It's as if their cold lights spark inside me, trying to ignite feelings long dead. Maybe not ignite, just like it. Because those feelings have been living in me for a long time, slumbering and waking up again. The driver's radio was playing some very familiar tune. But I wasn't listening to it. I was watching the cars passing by through the fogged up. Because people are always rushing somewhere, chasing something they need, stuck in their own little worlds. How would they care about mine? Probably have their own serious problems. Maybe have much easier lives. You can't know for sure, since all people are different. That's very true. Or are they? Sometimes someone's actions can easily be predicted. If you try to look inside his soul, you'll only see impenetrable darkness. The bus was approaching downtown. Thoughts were interrupted by the bright city lights. Hundreds of billboards, thousands of cars, millions of people. I watched this light show. Somehow I got terribly sleepy. My eyes closed for just a moment, and then... Hey, here's our intro. Animated too, that's cool. That's another thing they said about this visual novel. They said the music was really, really good. Hope this guy doesn't remain this emo for the whole thing, though. I'm with the very scarily Dispedo band. Hey, it's Miku! Okay, Muku. I know which girl I'm going for. Russian. Day 1. Okay, that's very creepy music. Bright daylight struck my eyes. God, the music makes me feel like I'm gonna get raped. At first, I didn't pay attention, as I wasn't fully awake yet. On their own, my legs carried me towards the door. Damn, looks like I fell asleep and missed my stop. There was no door. I looked around the bus and realized that it wasn't a good old worn-out Diaz. Instead, the bus was an Icarus model, a new one. I froze in shock. How? What? Am I dead? Have I been kidnapped? No, I must be dead. I patted myself down feverishly, slapped myself painfully in the face a few times, banged my forehead on the back of one of the bus seats. Ow. It's clear. Either I'm still alive, or you can still feel pain when you're dead. But how did this happen? Maybe I slept for too long and ended up at the bus depot? And then what? Did they put me onto another bus? I rushed out and took a look around. Greenery wherever I looked. Tall grass on the roadside, trees, flowers. Summer. But how? It was winter just a moment ago. My head was aching unbearably. Well, yeah, you just smacked it against the frickin' bus. As if it was going to explode. Again, yeah, you just smacked the shit out of yourself. Slowly, I began to remember. A long road leading off into the distance. Forests, plains, fields, lakes, and forests again. I think I was sleeping, but then how can I remember all of it? And then, Gap. I seen a girl leaning over me. Softly whispered something in my ear. And Gap again. And woke up here. Who was that strange girl? Was she just a dream? For some reason, thinking about her made me feel better. It calmed me down a little. I felt warmth all over, coming from the inside. Could it be her who brought me here? And I need to find her. The best place to look for her is away from here. I rushed to the left, then to the right, and then stopped, hesitating over where to go. Finally, I ran in the direction from which the bus had probably came. Physical exercise does refresh one's mind. Thoughts become clearer, and it gets a little easier to evaluate the surrounding reality. Not in my case, however. I was sitting on the roadside, wheezing and trying to ease my sore throat by gulping breaths of hot air. In any case, the run did its job. The fear withdrew for a while. Maybe I really am just dreaming. Though, recalling my self-harm in the bus, I immediately rejected the idea. Neither dreaming nor dead. A narrow road ran through the field and far into the distance. That's the exact same road from my dream. I must be very far away from home. It's not just that it was winter yesterday and it's summer now. It's the whole environment. Of course, summer is usually like this, green and hot, but here everything is not entirely lifelike. Everything looks like it was taken from the paintings of Russian landscape artists from the 19th century. The grass is just too lush, and the bushes are not like what bushes should be. They're so thick that you can't see anything through them, like treetops, honestly. And the trees themselves, of course, was quite far away. But the trees looked as if they had closed their ranks and were now just waiting for the order to advance into the fields and plains. I caught my breath and looked at the bus, which was now barely visible. Well, that was a good run. Fear overtook me once again. Those power lines. There must be people here. But what does it mean? In fact, that means nothing at all. Couldn't they have power lines even in hell? Roasting sinners over hot coals? That's so last century. You must have reached a point of no return, after which you should either lose your mind completely or finally try to understand what is going on. And while I still have a choice, I should pick the second option. I slowly headed back to the bus. Of course it was scary, but I'm not likely to find an answer in the field or the woods. And this wretched bucket of bolts is the only kind of link that I have with the real world. I should carefully scout the area. If anybody knows what Kobehek means, that'd be nice. I'm guessing it probably means welcome. Anyway, I should carefully scout the area. Solvianok means owlet. Interesting. A brick wall and its gate crowned with a Solvianok sign. I hope I said that right. Status of or statues of pioneers standing on either side, and a road sign nearby showing the bus route number 410. Gotta sit up. The trip's taking a bit too long today. I smirked. A person may start acting inappropriately in extreme situations. Something like that is probably happening to me now. This place didn't look abandoned at all. No rust on the gates, no damage to the walls. Sovianov. What could have been named like that? Judging by the pioneer statues, it could be a kid's summer camp. Moreover, it appears to be open. Of course, that's the simplest explanation. Logically speaking, it explains nothing at all. The strange girl, the altered bus, summer, the pioneer camp. Thousands of theories went through my mind instantly. From alien abduction to lethargic sleep, from hallucination to a time-space shift. None was worse than any other, but there really was no way to pick a single one. Then it occurred to me, I can try to make a phone call. I took out my cell phone and dialed the first number from my contact list. But instead of signal strength bars, the screen was showing a thick cross. Alright, there may be no signal in such a remote place. Though I cannot be the only one who came here. Buses don't drive themselves. I examined the bus from all sides to make sure that it wasn't a hallucination. Bits of dirt on the bottom, some rust here and there, faded paint, worn out tires. No, this is definitely a very ordinary Icarus. Yeah, exactly the kind of bus which takes you to places beyond your understanding. You carelessly fall asleep. I gave a nervous chuckle. It came out by itself sporadically. Because this wasn't the right place or time to laugh. But where on earth is the driver? I cautiously sat down on the curb beside the bus and started to wait. My patience didn't last long. My anxiety seemed to have reached its peak, and I started to go slightly mad. In such a situation, anyone would have probably felt something similar. Aliens and parallel universes were gone from my imagination, leaving only void and darkness. Is this how everything will end? Well, my life will end? But I wanted to do so much. There were so many things that I had no time for yet. I was overwhelmed by the idea. This was definitely the end. But why? It's not fair. Surely I'm no worse than anyone else. God, why? Tears were burning my eyes unbearably. I curled up and started rolling in the grass. Why? What did I do? Why me? But my cries were only heard by the speechless statues of the pioneers and a bird on a tree, which immediately flapped its wings and took off, crying out something in its own bird language, as if laughing at the idiot who dared to interrupt its after-dinner nap. I was left breathless from weeping and just lay quietly sobbing occasionally. After a while, I managed to pull myself together. My mind cleared up a bit as the terror and the fear of death gave me a little break. All in all, if somebody wanted to kill me, what is all this for? It doesn't look like an experiment either. If this is just some crazy coincidence, then there's probably no threat. Anyway, now it seems there's no danger. Panic was soon gone. Of course, the blood was still pounding in my temples, and my hands were still shaking, but at least I could think clearly now. Right now, there's nothing I can really change anyway. So, no matter how much I think or how mad I get, it only make things worse. Until some actual facts appear, there's really no point in making guesses. In any case, I won't learn anything by just lounging here. This camp, if of course it really is a camp, looked like the only place where people could be, so I decided to go there. And hardly had I reached the gates when a girl came out from behind them, wearing a pioneer uniform. The logic didn't let me down this time. And again, pioneer uniform in the 21st century. And then again, a girl here? I froze, unable to take a step. Felt very much like running away. Running as far away as I could from this place, far from this bus, gates, statues, and far from this bloody bird with its siesta. Running, free like the wind, faster and faster, waving to the planets passing by, winking at the galaxies. Running, becoming a pulsar rate, and turning into vestigial radiation, running to face the unknown. What the hell is this guy talking about? Run no matter where, as long as it's far away from this place. Meanwhile, the girl came closer and smiled. I could not help but notice her beauty, even though I was trembling with fear. Human instincts work independent of consciousness, and while only 5% of the brain is responsible for cognitive processes, the remaining 95% are always busy sustaining life, in particular, ensuring the stable functioning of the hormonal system. I desperately wanted to get less complicated and stop thinking in formal quotes from an encyclopedia, but my thoughts appeared one by one, being stupid, out of place. As if taken from an internal monologue of the hero from some junky softcore crime fiction book. A pretty Slavic face, long braids that looked like 2 armfuls of fresh hay, and blue eyes you could drown in. Hi, you must have just arrived. What should I do? Try and be brave. Yeah. Alright then, welcome. Yeah, I can't do girls' voices, I'm sorry. I'm pretty lame that way. She smiled broadly. Strange. It looked as if I had just a normal girl in front of me. Bah, I shouldn't have returned here. The woods and fields seemed better. But what shall I do next? Try to speak with her as if she was a human, or run away, or what? The blood was pumping unbearably in my head, tearing it apart from the inside. A little bit more, and the poor pioneer girl would be splattered with the gruesome contents of my skull. Ooh, don't do that. What's so funny about that? The girl looked over me. It sent shivers down my spine, and my knees started to tremble. And nothing. Great then. Great? What's so great about that? Suddenly a thought crossed my mind. To hell with it all. Forget about the bus behind me and the fact that it was winter yesterday and summer today. I wanted to rip off my itchy sweater and just accept that all this is actually happening. Everything is as it should be, and all this is for the best. Would you happen to know? You should go to our camp leader. She'll tell you everything. Look, you go straight ahead to the square, then turn left, and you'll see several small cabins. She pointed at the gates, as if I knew what was behind them. Dmitrievna is a patronymic, a derivative of a person's father name, in this case Dmitri, put by Russians after the person's first name as a sign of respect on the formal address. So sort of like San or Sama in Japanese. Well, you can ask someone where Olga, however the hell you pronounce that, his cabin is. Why does Russian have to be so hard to pronounce? I got it? Of course I didn't. Well, I've got to go now. The girl waved her hand at me and disappeared through the gates. It seemed as if to her I was something ordinary. And all this show was with the bus and the travels, while awake or asleep, were troubling only to me. While everything here is just the way it is supposed to be. Camp leader, pioneer uniform. What are they doing a historical reenactment here? I hope I won't find Lenin standing atop an armored car in this square. But even that would not surprise me right now. After standing alone for a while, I headed into the camp. Near 50 meters ahead, a small one-story house popped up on the left side. The sign near the door said clubs. I was about to come closer when the door suddenly opened and a short girl wearing the pioneer uniform came out. Her pretty face gave me the impression of one suffering for the fate of the whole world of mankind with a truly universal sorrow. As soon as she saw me, the girl froze, as if frightened. I froze too, considering what was the best to do. To approach first, or wait until she showed some initiative. Or maybe run away after all. Although this last option was constantly being suggested only by my self-preservation instinct. At least that's what I'd like to believe. Not the worst human instinct, but far from the most logical. If this instinct played poker against deductive abilities, the outcome would be predetermined. And those deductive abilities, or at least their semblance, were hinting to me that there was no need to be afraid of this girl. Somebody jumped out of nearby bushes. There's the little chibi girl or dolly of the game. A girl wearing a bright red t-shirt with USSR written on it. I guess that means USSR in Russian. Such perfect reproduction of the age. She looked quite short from a distance, and was probably younger than both pioneer girls. The one at the gates, and this girl at the door of the clothes. At last I decided to come closer, but the USSR, as they called it in my mind, jumped towards the first girl and started telling us something while wildly waving her arms. The other girl, in turn, seemed confused and lowered her gaze, remaining silent. We probably continued to observe their amusing dialogue. The USSR suddenly pulled something out of her pocket and started waving it in front of the first girl's face. Yeah, this something turned out to be a grasshopper. Yee! The first girl squealed. She must not be too keen on insects, and she instantly rushed off towards the place where Lenin presumably made a speech about the workers' and peasants' revolution. That is to say, towards the square. The USSR glanced at me, grinning playfully, and dashed after her. Not a bad start to the day. I have absolutely no clue where I am. Besides that, there are some kids here role-playing as pioneers. And as far as I can tell, this place is located thousands of kilometers away from my home. It might even be a different reality. And this was indeed a reality. I mean, everything around me seemed so real, if a little embellished, that I was starting to think that, in fact, my previous life could have been just a dream. And what am I supposed to do now? I was picking at the cracked paving stones with my shoe and staring aimlessly at the club's building. Just a few more seconds before I have to come up with some decision. That's when I recalled myself rolling on the grass, weeping. I cringed in disgust. Perhaps it's another instinct. When all energy for whimpering and self-pitying is used up, the body either goes into hibernation or mobilizes its reserves. Mine seemed to have chosen the second option, because out of the blue, I found the determination to figure out what was going on. And in order to do that, I had to act like a man, like a human, to maintain the dignity of a representative of my own world. I followed the path to the left, on the right side of which stood small cabins, apparently the homes of the local pioneers. And actually, they looked quite cozy from the outside. Even though I was born in the Soviet Union, I had never been part of its children organizations, neither the pioneers nor even the younger October children. I imagined the daily life of a typical pioneer camp a bit differently. Huge barracks with long rows of metal bunks, wake up and call at 6 o'clock, played by a siren, 1 minute to make your bed, and then joining the formation at the drill square. What, so like frickin' soldiers? Or wait, could I be confusing it with something else? Suddenly, something struck me on the back. I staggered a bit, but remained on my feet, turned around and prepared to fight heroically for my life. Oh, let me guess, this is the tsundere. But all I found was another girl standing before me. My mouth hung open in surprise. Pick your jaw up off the ground. I closed my mouth. The same pioneer uniform, but the way she was wearing it looked, let's say, provocative. Like all the girls I met here before, this one was rather cute, but her overly arrogant expression killed any desire to get to know her better. New here, are you? Fine, see ya. She threw a threatening glance at me and walked past. That's hardly a threatening glance. It's more like oh, what's the word? Flirting? I waited for the pioneer girl to turn at the corner. Who knows what else she might have been up to? The most interesting thing was that even this hostile girl seemed completely normal to me. She didn't give off the feeling of some deadly danger, except maybe the danger of getting punched in the nose. At last I managed to make it to the square. There was no Lenin on an armored car, although one could easily expect something like that after all this happened. Instead, however, a monument to a certain comrade towered in the middle of the square. The letters on the pedestal read Genda. Must be some big figure in the party. There were small benches at the sides. It's quite pleasant here. Where did that girl tell me to go? To the left or to the right? To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. And why am I going there anyway? Ah, right, I've decided to pretend to be normal. So, to the right. Through a small grove. I came out at a pier. Must have taken a long turn. Hey, wrong way! I turned towards the voice. Oh, hot damn! That first girl stood before me. Now, what did I tell you? Take a left at the square, wasn't it? She had changed from her pioneer uniform into a bikini. Oh, I still haven't introduced myself. My name's Slavia. Actually, my full name's Slaviana, but everybody just calls me Slavia. So you can too. Yeah. I still felt a bit confused, so you could not come up with a more meaningful answer. And what's your name? It felt like she could see right through me. Semyon. Nice to meet you, Semyon. Alright, I'm almost done here. Could you wait here a minute? I'm gonna go change and we'll go to Olga, whatever that fuck's name, together, okay? Agreed. After this exchange, she ran off. I sat on the pier and let my feet hanging to the water. I was wearing heavy winter boots, but in such weather there was nothing wrong with getting my feet wet. Furthermore, let me cool myself a little. Looking at the river and brainstorming and processing everything that has happened. This is some kind of conspiracy. It's a weird one. Even too friendly at times. No, it really looks more like a kind of event. Some entirely incomprehensible random event. Shall we go? Slavia was standing beside me, dressed in the pioneer uniform. Let's go. I've been here for a very short time, but of all the people I met, she looked the least suspicious. I just liked her in that bikini. However, this fact is already suspicious itself. We walked to the square. The USSR girl and the girl who hit me on the back were there, chasing each other. Is that some kind of game they're playing? Yuliana, enough running. I'll tell everything to Olga. What's not? Aye, Captain. I decided not to question Slavia for a while about what was going on or the local residents. Better meet with this mysterious Olga what's-her-nuts first. Sounds like she's the boss here. We walked past the rows of almost identical cabins, some of which looked like fat beer barrels, while others looked more like household sheds. Finally, Slavia stopped in front of a smallish one-story cabin. It looked like an artist's painting, the faded paint chipping here and there with age, sparkling in the sun. The window shutters, slightly ajar, were swaying almost unnoticeably in the wind, and huge lilac bushes were growing at the sides. It seemed as if this ramshack hut was drowning in a storm of purple silk. And the lilacs, like some elemental force, were inexorably destroying the Schutz's leader house. Can't pronounce that word. What are you standing around for? Let's go. Slavia snapped me out of my daydreaming. And stop teasing Lena already. Ah, it's Higurashi. Rena. That really did. That looked like the freaking Higurashi chick. Sounds like there's someone inside. Indeed. A moment later, the door swung open, and Juliana ran out and dashed past with the same mischievous grin. The big-tailed girl came out next. Don't let it bother you, Lena. So, her name is Lena. Gotta be thankful it's not Rena, at least. But I don't. Instead of finishing her sentence, she blushed and quickly headed towards the square. For some reason, I felt like turning and following her with my eyes, but Slavia said, "Come." We entered the cabin. Inside, it looked something similar to what I'd imagined. 2 beds, a table, a couple of chairs, simple carpet on the floor, a wardrobe. Nothing special, but at the same time, it felt like home-like and cozy. Polo's room was almost in the same state of disorder as my own flat. The girl standing near the window appeared to be about 25 years old. Nature had obviously gifted her with plenty of a pretty face, and a good body. At least one thing can keep you happy in this pandemonium. The locals are beautiful. You're finally here. Excellent. Her name is Olga, whatever. I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce that anymore. I'm the camp leader. Nice to meet you. I'm Senko. I decided to talk as if I wasn't surprised by anything that was going on. She came closer. We've been expecting you since early morning. Expecting me? Yes, of course. When does the next bus come? Or when does the next bus come? Because And why do you need it? Yeah, right. I'm doing it. Guess I shouldn't ask direct questions. People here may react to them quite unlike how I would. And I doubt it getting any answers. No reason, just curious. By the way, where are we exactly? That's a pretty creepy guy on the freaking poster. By the way, where are we exactly? Our mailing address. I wanted to send a letter to my parents to tell them I got your friend. For some reason, I had the desperate idea that if I played along, I would find something out. Oh, but your parents called just half an hour ago. I sent their regards to you. Now that's a surprise. So, can I call them? Because I forgot to tell them something before I left. No. She gave me a sweet, spontaneous smile and a smile. Why not? We don't have a phone here. It's probably like, fuck. Then how could my parents make a call to here? I've just come back from the district central town. I talked with them there. Ah, so that's how it is? And can I somehow get to the town? No. She kept the same smile. I'm not trusting this chick. Why not? Because the next bus only comes in a week. I decided not to inquire how the troop leader managed to get there back. I would get no answers anyway. All this time, Slavia was standing next to me and seemed to find nothing odd in our conversation. Oh, we need to find a uniform for you. I've got absolutely no desire to put on my shorts or wear the ridiculous redneck neckerchief. However, wearing winter clothes in summer isn't a great idea. Right, thank you. I wonder if I'm the only one here who finds it strange that someone's wearing a coat and winter boots and such. Radio, I'll be off then. You can get yourself acquainted with the camp. Don't forget to come to dinner in the evening. Having said that, she walked out of the cab. No, walked is not the right word. She rushed out. I ended up alone with Slavia. I must go too. Got things to do. Take a walk around and look around the campfire. See you in the evening. There is no threat or catch to this reality as Slavia becomes more and more appealing. For the first time today, I realized that it was awfully hot here. Although obviously my winter clothes were fine with that. took off my coat and dropped it on the bed. Pull over flight. I was now wearing only a shirt. That's much better. All I can do now is follow their advice and go look around here. I'll try to find something out in the meantime. Well, I think I'm going to end there for now. We've got almost an hour going here. Hopefully, hopefully I'll have time to make another upload fairly soon. Because, yeah, we need to figure out how the hell we got here. And also why she won't, Camp Leader won't tell us anything. Because that's a little suspicious. And I'm not even going to try and pronounce that last name of hers, because that's just, I'm not good on my Russian. I am sorry. If anybody knows how to speak Russian and can tell me how to pronounce that properly, that would be very much appreciated. I can speak some Japanese, but I am very rusty on my Russian, unfortunately. So anyone who watches this, I hope they enjoy it, and I look forward to reading this more because I've heard many, many good reviews on this, and I look forward to seeing what happens. But yeah, until then, keep enjoying anime and anime for life.